All right, here with Paul Wight, AEW legend, wrestling legend, superstar. What do you refer to as?
Paul
Just a
Wight,
big guy?
Yeah, just the big guy, the big tall guy. Paul Wight, right now with AEW.
Yes.
We're also talking about bringing back Captain Insano. So
there you go.
we got the rights to Captain Insano, so there's some plans for that coming up in the very near future. So exciting times.
So we know you played here at Wichita State in 1991, 92.
I did,
You're
yes.
back in Wichita. I know you've been back since then. How long has it been?
It's been a few years since I've been back. It's funny, but when I came back before, I didn't have much of a chance to really stay. It was kind of in and out, on to the next town thing. And I've got a chance to go around, see some places, and see how much Wichita has changed and developed. And some places are kind of familiar, then there's all kinds of new stuff, too.
You kind of strike me as a dog and shake guy. Is that
Dog
fairly
and shake,
accurate?
yeah, it's funny. Yeah, dog and shake, absolutely, 100%. I'll take a good hot dog anytime.
There you go. So you're back here, obviously, with AEW
Yes.
Collision coming to Interest Bank Arena next Saturday. That's November 4th. When you talk about AEW, what's the message? What do you say to people when they ask what it is, why you're there, and what's going on with that company?
Well, one of the things that made me come over to AEW was just the opportunity to try some new things. I really wanted to get in commentary. I felt like I'd done pretty much everything I could do in WWE. And there was an opportunity for me to transition over. I saw my friends Chris Jericho and Cody Rhodes at the time, and they had a good little thing going. And I just liked the environment and the synergy, the opportunity, and the authenticity of the product. I think that's the biggest difference that I noticed right away is how authentic the product is. You know, where I come from, it's a big corporation. There's so many working pieces, and you know, when you have an in-ring promo, it's handed to you by a writer.
Right.
There's no such thing as AEW. In AEW, if you have a promo, it's much like it was earlier when I started. You have a promo.
Yeah.
You have to endear yourself to the audience. You have to make that connection. I just like it. I like the great crop of talent that we have. The men and women are all very individualistic, and they're all fighting to get their brand and their name out there.
So what will we see next Saturday? I know Bryan Danielson's a headliner on the Collision show on TNT. Who else can we expect maybe to be out there?
There's going to be a lot of our top AEW talent there. Again, I've got 2 TV shows to shoot before we even get here for Collision, so a lot of things will change. I'm planning on being here as well. I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't see more talents like Chris Jericho or Kenny Omega or any of the multitude of talents. We have Hook, we have Orange Cassidy, Hobbs. The list goes on and on. Maybe the young guns, Austin and Colton Gunn, my nephews, and that's the product. It's on TNT. We're in Interest Arena. Show starts at 7. Doors open at 6. AEWTix.com. This is a great product. I mean, if you're a fan of professional wrestling, which I know Wichita really hasn't gotten the attention that it deserves for wrestling. It's like wrestling comes through very sparsely, very sparingly. And I think this is our first time in this market, and this is a market that I hope that we will come back to many more times in the future.
So you're from Aiken, South Carolina. Definitely
Yes.
want to get to the Wichita connection, but you have the Refrigerator Perry,
Yeah.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
Right.
Who's the fourth on the Mount Rushmore of Aiken, South Carolina?
Around South Carolina, maybe Shelton Benjamin, who
Okay.
also is from South Carolina.
Okay, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
we'll throw that one in there, yeah.
So we have sort of a connection that you probably don't even remember or really know about. I think I lived next door to your nephews.
Oh,
And
Silas and Caleb.
Caleb and Silas, yeah. Why do I remember that from 30 years ago?
That's awesome.
But I was always wondering, like, Big Show's not from Wichita, so how did he have family in Wichita? Can you? I watched your DVD. I figured it all out.
Yeah.
But tell me anyway.
Well, I'll tell you as a fan, I went to 3rd and 4th grade in Wichita. I actually went to Oaklawn Elementary, believe it or not. And my dad worked for, I believe it was Beechcraft or Cessna at the time, in the early 80s. And my sister moved out to Wichita many years ago, and she worked for MetLife, the insurance company. She ran their computer. She actually started at like 17 or 18 hanging tapes, the old computer reel tapes.
Yeah. Wow.
And worked her way up in the company there. So that was one of my main influences for coming to Wichita State was I knew my sister was out here, and she had just had Silas and Caleb, so I knew it was a chance to hang with my nephews and get to know them. So that was part of the big decision on why I chose Wichita State, and very happy I did.
Yeah, and we're going to radio, peek behind the curtain there a little bit next with usually my dad, who's Bob Lutz,
right,
who covered Wichita State when you were there.
I remember your dad very well. That was your dad?
Yeah, it was my dad.
Wow,
and
holy
he
cow.
I met
Really?
you one time.
Wow, Bob Lutz was your dad.
Bob Lutz is my dad.
Wow, you just blew my freaking mind out. Yeah, Bob Lutz was...
You're not supposed to remember him that well. That'll give him a big head.
No, he was so good to me so many times at Wichita State. Listen, I wasn't the greatest player in the world, okay, let's be honest. I sat the bench a lot. I had good enthusiasm on the bench, but we had tremendous athletes. Claudius Johnson, Robert George, John Smith, Winston Peterson. There were so many athletes on that team. I remember, like, there was 7 or 8 guys with 40-inch plus verticals. And we were all young. Kamayo Alexander was on the team.
I remember all these guys very
well.
well.
And it was like we had so much potential and so much talent just trying to get the system to work together. And I remember they had let Coach Cohen, they fired him midway through the season.
Yeah.
And then they let him coach. And it was like the most depressing rest of the season ever. And I'd lost my dad and my grandfather, and Coach Cohen had gotten fired. And it was kind of a year where, and my sister moved from Wichita. My sister actually moved to Rensselaer, New York. She had to transfer. So I was just like, yeah, I need to find something to do with myself.
So my dad claims that he said you need to get into pro wrestling.
He did.
I know the origin is kind of Hulk Hogan, but I mean Bob Lutz, Hulk Hogan, kind of.
Well, here's the thing. It goes. Believe it or not, here's how the story goes. Bob Lutz, Xavier McDaniel.
Okay.
Then Danny Bonaducci, then Hulk Hogan. That's the line, because I remember being in the gym. Kerry Rosenblum used to be the strength coach at Wichita State, and we were all in the gym working out, because X used to come back every summer and play pickup ball with us and stuff. And X was from South Carolina as well.
Yeah.
And I guess he would be your number 4, probably number 1 or 2 actually. So X asked me what I was going to do, because I wasn't playing at Wichita State anymore. Scott Thompson came in, great guy, nice guy, just. I was lost. I wasn't vibing with him, which is important for a young man. I said, man, I'm just going to try out for the NBA. I said, I'll try out for every pro team until I make it. And I remember Xavier McDaniel telling me, he says, listen, you'll be the only 7-foot guy get cut by the Japanese team. He says, I'm telling you what you need to do. You need to go into pro wrestling, and you need to tell everybody that you're Andre the Giant's son. You're here to settle your dad's debts. And I was like, man, I can't be a pro wrestler. Like, I love it, but man, I'm telling you, he says, you ain't built for basketball, man. You're built for pro wrestling. And then, like, he would give me such a hard time every day after, because, if X got on you about something.
There were probably some 4-letter words mixed in.
Well, yeah, we're keeping it PG, but, like, I'm telling you, you need to go into pro wrestling. You need to go into pro wrestling. And it's funny just how how the world takes you, manifesting your destiny, throwing things out in the universe, however you want to, God's plan, however you want to look at it. It's just amazing. I never would have imagined that lost young man at that time in my life at, 21 years old. Really had no idea what to do with myself. I was selling cars at Rusty Eck Ford, to turn around and have the great opportunities that I've had and travel the world and seen the things I've seen. But I would all, going through Wichita State, making that choice and meeting those people. Yeah,
so you were like doing the odd jobs around here and there.
I did.
Did you like figure out that, hey, you obviously had gotten some advice, but obviously your marketable skill at that time was you're humongous. Still is, right? Did you grasp that at all?
No, I had no concept. I didn't have a concept of what kind of a talent I was even after I got into wrestling. Because when I first started wrestling, my first match was against Hulk Hogan.
Right.
So, like, I'm hanging out every day with Randy Macho Man Savage. I'm hanging out with Hulk Hogan. I am going to bars and raising hell with Ric Flair, to the point where WCW told me I wasn't allowed to hang out with Ric Flair anymore.
That's a hard distinction to have.
It's like, okay,
you can't hang out with Rick.
Yeah, it's like, it's like, well, you're a good kid. If you hang out with Rick, we're worried about you. And I'm like, yeah, but I grew up a Ric Flair fan. I grew up in South Carolina, like, come on, woo and strut. And Rick laughs about this day where WCW wouldn't let me hang out with Ric Flair because he was supposedly a bad influence. So, but I'm just blessed and thankful. I'm having kind of nostalgic moments going around Wichita, and I saw Rusty Eck Ford over there, and I saw little things that I remember at Scotch and Sirloin.
Yeah, great.
I saw the Scotch and Sirloin. That's where the first place I ever had prime rib in my life was Scotch and Sirloin. Nice. So all those little memories of that young, broke, heartbroken kid running around Wichita. And the thing is everybody, I got to say, being alone in Wichita with everything I was going through, everybody in Wichita, the staff at Wichita State, the fans, they were always just fantastic and supportive, but at the same time, they were like, come on, you need to do something.
Yeah.
You need to do something, you know. And I got lucky. I found my path.
So, yeah, my friends and my dad, and we've gotten together for pay-per-views. I think the very first one
I can't believe Bob Lutz was your dad.
Halloween.
Oh, my God. That's so cool.
I think Halloween Havoc 96 was the first one.
95.
95.
Yeah.
So you get in the business. There's some people that get in the business and say, you know, I'm not losing. They don't really understand. But you did bill yourself, or they billed you as Andre the Giant's son initially. They got you falling off roofs. Were you just up for anything when you got in?
I was young and living on cloud nine, man. I mean, there was nothing that they would have asked me to do that I would have said no to, which is a great life lesson too, to carry forward. Very good friend of mine used to tell me every day, to be successful, treat every day like your first day on the job. Your first day on the job, your eyes are open, your ears are open, you say hello to everyone, you're polite, and you give your best effort. And it was funny because that's the way I was early in my career. And then you get older, you travel a lot, you know, and then things start to taper off.
Yeah.
It's all in your attitude. And I turned my attitude around. I took a year off in 07, and I came back in 08 with the best attitude I've ever had in my life, and it's been going great for me. I'm kind to everyone. I try to help out anyone that I can in our business and remember what it was like when I was green and when I was young in their business, and try to give them honest, sincere advice and help, and just blessed and grateful. I don't know how else to put it. I know that everybody says that, but believe me, some of the things that I went through, there's no other way I can attribute it, especially 51 years old now.
Yeah.
I'm working for a great company in AEW who's on a major television network. I have a great boss who was literally no drama, no stress. Like I'm used to working at a very heavy, demanding job of not having any personal time. You're part of the machine.
Right.
And I work for a guy now that's just great, that's happy to see me, happy to have me around. Completely blessed.
Yeah. I know we have not a ton of time, but...
Oh, dude, I'll talk all day.
So can I,
hey,
trust me.
You're Bob Lutz's son.
Bob
Lutz and I go way back.
Man, I wish he was on the show today.
I know.
In.
You know what? I'm going to be here. I will be here before the show Saturday. I'm pretty sure I'm coming in early because I think we have TV in Louisville, and if I don't go to that TV, I'll just come into Wichita early. But we'll need to hook up after this because I would love to grab lunch with Bob. I'd love to see him and just say hi.
This is the rare time where being Bob Lutz's son has actually worked to my benefit.
It's working to your favor, yeah, because, you know, not that Jeff Lutz isn't a cool guy, but you know, Bob Lutz and I go way back.
That's cool. Well, I shook your hand at age 8. I don't know
if
he brought me down, and here's the largest human being you'll ever see.
Yeah.
And we shook hands. I said
one of the
my
largest
hand is growing.
mullets
I don't know
you've
if
ever
it's
seen.
still.
There
Yours
you
is
go.
still a little bigger.
Pulled your hand up. There you go.
So just a little bigger.
Just a little bit. You
Yes.
know, that's funny.
So here's a question, because you talked about you helping younger guys. When you get into WCW, it's nearing its boom period with the NWO and everything like that, which you were a part of. And there is Hogan, there is Savage, Nash, and Hall come in. All these guys really fighting for a spot. As a young guy, what was that like? Did they nurture you, or was it kill or be killed?
No, I mean, listen, it was funny. WCW was great. I didn't learn about kill or be killed till I got to up north, till I got to WWF. WCW, everybody was on a guaranteed contract. All the guys were seasoned. Everybody was kind of chill. They were bucking and fighting back and forth for things that were above my pay grade, like merchandise rights on T-shirts and TV time, and I was just happy to be there. I was riding in a car with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, and Scott Hall would sit in the back seat and tell me all the time, said, "Gee, I dare you, go get over." That was his way of motivating you, and about winning or losing, it was like, gee, they can always tell you the finish, but they can't tell you how to get there. Like he had such a philosophy on embracing being a pro wrestler talent. Kevin Nash, who took me down so many wormholes on political theory, and just he's so smart sometimes. It's like riding with a professor, And then I'm also hanging out with Hogan and Savage, and Hogan is talking about business and character. And Randy Savage, here's a great Randy Savage. We used to train at the gym every morning, and we'd go to breakfast together, the three of us. And one morning I was going to pay for breakfast. And Randy was notoriously known for being thrifty.
Oh, yeah.
So I pulled my credit card out, and he goes, no. I was like, it's okay, Randy. I mean, I can buy breakfast. You know, I'm not a bum. You know, like I'm with Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. I can buy breakfast. He goes, no, it's not that. Don't run with the Joneses. Let Hogan pay. Put that credit card away. And that was Randy's thing. He always made Hogan pay for everything. It was great.
Like I said, I could talk about your entire career, but let's go back to AEW real
Sure.
quick. What is kind of the plan moving forward for you? I know you've done some commentary. You've done a little bit of wrestling. What's still kind of in the cards for you there?
Right now, I've been working a lot with AEW Together, which is our community relations program, helping to get that up and running, because that's one of the things I'm very passionate about giving back to our community, and also finding special interest groups that our talent can work with and help teach them about giving back and using that fame or brand to promote better things. AEW is a big partner right now with Best Buddies, which is a great organization I'm proud to be a part of. The commentary thing right now, we are working more into that. We've got plenty of TV time, but we've also got some incredible announcers in those positions between Taz, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, there's Kevin Kelly. There's so many guys that are so good at that. They're on their key shows. And right now with me, I'll insert here and there, but we both know, Tony Khan and I both feel that commentary for me will be a little bit later in my career down the road. We're happy with it. I did some pre-pay-per-view stuff with Renee, which I really like doing that, and just basically get ready to get back in the ring. I had a big knee surgery a year ago, and we're finally on the upside of that and recovery and stuff, so we're doing great, and we've got some more gas in the tank.
Absolutely.
So we got some creative things going.
Sting can do it until 65.
Listen, Sting is a whole nother level, okay?
Yes, I think so.
Tremendous athlete, but I would like to footnote that Sting is still doing so well because he did take that nice hiatus in between.
Right.
You know, so but anyway, no, Sting is fantastic. He's been great for even the younger talent to be inspired, because here's a guy that is a true icon, who was doing it before I did it, and has done it at a much bigger level than most anybody else in the business, and is still going out there every night with that positive attitude. Hey, what can we do? Okay, I need to jump off the top rope through a table. I'm 61, no problem. I'll do it anyway. He's got a lot more guts than I do, because if they come to me and say, hey, we want you to jump.
Well, your foot went through a table once.
My foot went through a table. I've broken rings. Like, that's why I don't snow ski either.
Yes.
You know that? Because you imagine me going down a mountain on skis.
Well, I could imagine it. I just wouldn't want to be there.
And I'd wipe out the lodge at the bottom. So we're going to keep my feet on the ground, and we'll have fun. So
are you going to be on camera or wave to the crowd or come out in Wichita at all?
Oh, I'm definitely coming out.
Yeah.
Even if I'm here's the thing. I've already told Tony to try to find me something to do. I said, because I'm coming anyway. So I'm either going to grab a microphone and go out and say hi to everybody, but you might as well find something to put me on TV. And he started laughing. He's got so many things on his plate, but he's like, definitely, I want to give you a spot for Collision in Wichita, and we know it's important to you. So that's a great thing about working with Tony, man. He is just such an incredibly different, cool cat to work for, because there's no stress with Tony.
Yeah.
There's no political maneuvering. There's no does this benefit the company more? Or does this benefit? Tony just likes the talent to have fun. He lets the talent be talent, and it's a much more authentic, creative environment.
Well, that's awesome, man. Congratulations on a long career that's still going.
Still going.
For knowing Bob Lutz, which...
Bob Lutz is the man. Bob Lutz, I cannot believe that you know Bob Lutz.
I not only know him, he sort of almost raised me.
Yeah, almost. Bob Lutz is one of the reasons why I got recruited by Wichita State.
That's beautiful.
Bob Lutz is the one that introduced, that told, who was the coach before Mike Cohen? I can't remember his name.
Eddie Fogler.
Eddie Fogler. He introduced me to Eddie Fogler years ago when I was out visiting my sister. And then Eddie Fogler went on somewhere else, and Mike Cohen became head coach. And Mike Cohen continued that along with Tom, the assistant coach. Gosh.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't. I hate getting old. McCarthy, I can't remember anyway.
Good enough for me.
Sorry, I know somebody else. How could you not know that? I'm like, well, I've been hitting the head a lot. Work with me. Yeah, they continue that recruiting, and I went to a lot of places. I took a visit to Clemson. I just wanted to get out of South Carolina, and Wichita just seemed like another home.
So Clemson would have been.
Yeah, like it's funny is I actually ran into Cliff Ellis a couple of weeks ago in the airport. His players were coming over, and I had forgotten that I'd gone on a recruiting visit there and stuff. He says, "Hey, you remember me?" And I was like, "Oh my God, yeah, you're Coach Cliff Ellis." Yeah, he says, because on that recruiting visit, I think it was me, Jerry Pryor was already playing there, I think, and Eldon Campbell was a freshman.
Okay.
And my recruiting business, I went and watched a Clemson football game.
That's outstanding. Well, we're going to cut out all the Bob Lutz stuff from this podcast.
No, the Bob Lutz stuff stays or I go. Bob Lutz is the man. You need to show respect to the legend himself, Bob Lutz.
Paul Wight, AEW Collision, November 4th, right here in Wichita at Interest Bank Arena. You're the man.
Bob Lutz is the man.
Thanks, guys.